who's a better golfer, you or Nick?
Depends on the day. Just like new construction or acquisition, depends on the day. Putt, probably me. The real thing, probably him.
Well, that's a bold statement. I mean, Nick was trying to play on the PGA Tour at one point in his life. So how many strokes are you going to give me next time we play?
One aside.
One a hole. Sounds great. Welcome to Teague Talks. I'm your host, Teague Hunter. What makes our industry so special are the people and the stories. Today, I'm fortunate to sit down with Hiren Desai, 3H Group, and hear his amazing story. I've been trying to get Hiren to sit down with me since the beginning of this podcast and even speak at the conference for probably over a decade, and he has turned me down. Finally got him here, and I'm very excited to share his story with you guys. Hiren Desai, thank you for being here.
Glad to be here.
So I know we haven't been doing the Teague Talks that long, but I've been asking him. Have I not? Am I lying?
Yes, you have. You've been
asking. And he's one of the prolific people, prolific developers, one of the guys we got to know. So I finally twisted his arm. He couldn't say no. I had a little blackmail on him, so now he's sitting down. So I'm excited. Thank you for doing this. Tell me where we are today. Where are we?
We're at the Hiatus Hotel, Clearwater Beach.
There's a story behind the hiatus. What's the story?
In January 22, when I got rid of the management arm, with the alliance with LBA, I had told the staff that I'm on a hiatus, but we were in between offices, and they took it seriously. And when we were coming up with a name, my brother Nick said, "Take your hiatus to Clearwater." So here's the hiatus.
The hiatus in Clearwater.
The hiatus in Clearwater.
It's great. So now when you need to be on hiatus, you can come here.
That's right.
There's a beautiful hotel. I can't wait to walk it later with the crew and you and Nick. Maybe we can talk Nick into joining us.
Yep.
Yeah. But let's get into it. This is fun. So we all want to know, who is Hiren Desai? How did you end up here? How did you get here? So where'd you grow up? I know the story, but tell me, where'd you grow up?
So born and raised in Zambia. Went to boarding school in mid-70s in England.
At what age?
Age of 7.
Mom and dad still in Zambia?
Mom and dad still in Zambia. Quite a few relatives still in Zambia, cousins. And then from boarding school, University of Tennessee, Chattanooga.
From boarding school in London
Yep.
to the University of Tennessee, Chattanooga.
Yep, in 1987. Stayed in Chattanooga, met my wife in Chattanooga, still in Chattanooga.
Still in Chattanooga
Still in
today.
Chattanooga today, yeah.
What did you study in college?
Economics and business management.
Okay, so we graduate college, and what's our first job? We get a job? What do we do?
Working in a plastic recycling plant, working on a machine, driving a fork truck. And then got this opportunity from my dad's best friend, or an uncle who I stayed with while I was in college, and he was building a hotel and said, "Do you want to, get involved on the hotel side?
What did Dad say?
Do you want to work for yourself, or do you want to work for someone else as you make your decision?" So that was easy enough to make that decision. So ended up in the development of a hotel, Country Suites in Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Country Inn and Suites, Chattanooga, Tennessee. Developed it with this guy, so learned construction?
I learned construction, walked around, didn't know what blueprints were, walked around trying to figure out, as they were building it, this is what it is, self-taught on how to read blueprints. And then ended up managing that hotel. Told my wife to quit doing computer software sales and say, "We're going to do this hotel, and you're going to be the sales director. I'm going to be the general manager." And started it, doing everything by ourselves. 1 month or 2 months into it, after working cleaning rooms at 8 o'clock at night, she looked at me and said, "I don't know if I signed up for this." And that was when I said to her that once we have children, we'll figure it out. 6 years, let me fast forward it. 6 years later, walked into my closet. There was a home pregnancy test with "I quit" on a sticky note. She hasn't worked since.
Good for her. What's it like working with your wife? Cleaning toilets at 8 p.m. in the evening.
I mean, I wouldn't recommend it.
Yeah.
but it worked out for us at the beginning, and worked out after she quit, and still here today.
How many kids you guys have now?
2 kids.
How old are they?
25. Sean is 25. Dylan is 23.
What are they doing?
Sean is working in Atlanta, and Dylan is doing his master's at Chattanooga. He's another mock.
All right, so let's keep going on the journey. So, Country Inn and Suites, in 6 years, wife quits. What was our first on our own development project?
So after that, first country owned development was another Country Inn and Suites in Lookout Valley, Chattanooga. Then another Country Inn and Suites in Hickson, Tennessee. Bought another Country Inn and Suites in Dalton, Georgia. And then in 2006, sold them all and got into Marriott. Our first Marriott was in 2001.
So do you like developing or building or buying better?
Depends on the day.
Always. Always. But you're a prolific developer.
Yes.
So I'm going to go back to mentors, though. So your father's not here. Again, most of us sort of joined our father's company, learned from them, et cetera. That's not your story because dad's in Zambia.
Right.
But so who'd you follow? Dad's best friend,
Yes.
who was here.
Who I stayed with in Chattanooga while I was in college. I mean, father's always been the mentor, but then had the support of others to get to where we are. So dad's best friend is who I stayed with, and he asked me about the joining back in '93.
On that Country Inn and Suites.
Country Inn and Suites.
In Chattanooga.
Yeah.
Said, come join me.
Yeah.
Which again, isn't that what we're supposed to be doing? Mentors and give it to the next generation.
That's right.
Training, teaching.
We all had an opportunity somewhere, right?
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Yeah. So your kid's going to come join you?
Remains to be seen. Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right. They're in their 20s. All right. So keep going. So then we develop our first, we sell the Country Inn and Suites.
Yep.
And we buy our first Fairfield.
Fairfield. And that's when 3H was created as a management company.
Who was operating hotels before that?
We had GMs, and I was just overseeing the countries, and then created the management company. And my first manager at one of the countries became the director of operations.
Did you have to start a management company to get approved by Marriott? Because that's a tough approval process.
Yes, that was the assumption we took, and then got it done that way.
And so that's when we started 3H.
Yep.
What's the name 3H?
3H, one of the things I'll go back and say that the mentor is always the father. And we've been instilled that never forget where you came from. So as I did the business plan and proposed it to, so I'll start off with my dad's friend. All our names begin with H. So I always say that Harshad Naik gave me my first roof over my head in the U.S., and Harshad Shah gave me my first opportunity as a job after college. And then there's Hiren. So when I proposed and say, hey, we'll just call it 3H, that's how we started. And that remains. And now it's, mine and Nick's company, but we kept the name as we created the brand, 3H.
They didn't work with you. They were just mentors.
Yes.
It was a homage to them.
Yes. They were, mentors is a perfect way to put it. And they're still mentors today.
Yeah. How much do they mean to you? How much impact did they have on your life?
A lot, It's the father the most, and then you have mentors, you have role models as you grow up, but they've always been there. They're still partners in a lot of the hotels. So nothing has changed. The roots are still there.
Who else has had impact in your life?
You've always got, brother, wife, even the kids. You learn every day.
Yeah. All right, so keep going. So now we're into Marriott. We buy Marriott.
Yep.
And then we go on a prolific, and we start the management company.
And we start the management company. We create, structure, and then we go on a development spree right before the recession. Went through that, and it was mainly Marriott's then. And then, when Nick joined, we went and got into the Hilton family, and now we've got Marriott, Hiltons, and Hyatts and IHGs now.
Yeah. When did your crazy brother Nick join, and how did that change the company?
He was always there when he came. He actually came and stayed with us when he went to University of Tennessee, Chattanooga as well. So, he's kind of been in the mix since '93, since he's been here, but really joined right around 2006.
Did he follow your path to boarding school in London? Or
No,
did
he stayed in Zambia.
Stayed there.
Yeah,
Did school all the way through.
He was the baby of the family. Mom and dad had to have someone with them, right?
That's exactly right. They kicked you out. Good
Yeah,
luck.
that's right.
We're going to keep this one close.
Yeah,
And then he graduated, went to UTC,
Yeah.
Chattanooga, because that's where you were.
that's right.
And then you watched him, and then he joined,
Yeah,
following his big brother. I bet he's got a lot to say about you.
I know he should be sitting here.
We'll get him. We'll get him next time. We'll get him next time.
Yeah.
All right. So speed me through the development cycle. So we're just developing Hiltons and Marriotts along the path. My version is when you first started, even Country Inn and Suites, but even the Hilton and Marriott. My point, everyone, is that the industry has come a long way.
Yes.
So we start building, I don't know, 3-story Hampton
Yeah.
Inns, 3-story Fairfield Inn, and now we're building these big, beautiful,
Yes.
independent boutique, whatever word, lifestyle, whatever word we want to use,
Yeah.
hotels. Give me that evolution.
So no, yeah, you come out of the gates and you build the prototypical hotels. It's an evolution, and now we've got to the point where it's not about building buildings; it's about building experiences, and that's what we've done with this hotel, the Moxy in Chattanooga, and more to come. We'll be building experiences for the guests.
Yeah, talk to me about the Moxy in Chattanooga. I'm just going to pick on that.
Yeah.
Like, that's a fun story. And who builds a Moxy in Chattanooga? No offense, Moxy.
Right.
But how'd you get there?
It was just one of these things. I've been in Chattanooga now since '87. The South Side had always been kind of developing and kind of being, the next area of growth for Chattanooga. And when Moxy came out, I said, "Hey, how about a Moxy?" Nick was, "No, absolutely not. Don't think it's going to work." But at the end of the day, the late Tom Onkin came by, looked at it, said, "You know what? There may be something to this." Told Nick, "I'm going to stick around, and maybe not a bad idea." And then the Moxy team came from Marriott, kind of approved it because even they had, I think, questioned themselves, like Moxy in Chattanooga. That went on to become the number one Moxy in North America. So,
Love that. So what'd you learn from building a Moxy? I mean, certainly one that it can work, but that it's a different business model than your standard business hotels.
goes back to building an experience.
Yeah.
It became a destination. It became a place to hang out. It just had that element in that nobody had seen in the hotel world, where we checking at the bar, and there's so many times I had to remind the staff that by the way, we are a hotel. It's not a bar.
not a club.
Yeah, we're not a club. Yeah, but that was good. That created the vibe, and that created the destination.
And I'm guessing it translated to business and to numbers. I'm guessing that your ADR was higher than whatever the fancy hotel in town was at the time.
Well, we'll just use our own example in a portfolio where we have a Spring Hill Suites as well on the river. Great, another good spot. And on the weekends, I would be surprised where the Moxy had a higher ADR than the Spring Hill Suites, and it's half the room.
Yeah.
That's
Half-
the
half
experience.
the room size.
Yeah, so people are paying for the experience. The
Not
guests.
on the river,
Yeah,
and they're charging more.
yeah.
Yeah, and that wasn't the original business model.
That's not the
right,
original business model.
of
No.
Moxy.
Right.
That's fun. So what'd you learn, even experiences, but design that you took, I'm guessing, into buildings like this?
Right. So you learn a lot of the things. It's revenue per square feet. Where can you take building with today's construction costs, create an experience, but it translates to revenue per square foot.
Yes.
So that's the most we learned out of it. The smaller footprint, but we had bars, we had outdoors, all creating revenue.
How complicated is it to operate these new hotels? Again, your Country Inn and Suites is just rooms.
Yeah.
These are now bigger projects, more rooms, lots of F&B outlets.
Yeah.
What's the management complication there?
No, it is complicated, but it's execution at the end of the day. You've got the food and beverage component. You've got the activations. You've got, we'll walk here and you talk about probably one of the best sunset in the country. And you got to create that activation of a sunset toast,
Yeah.
where in the evenings, we'll see tonight, it'll be full for the sunset toast. So it's creating those type of things, but that's complicated to pull off.
Yes.
It's not like the regular, prototypical hotel. You just check them in, check them out, free breakfast, off they go.
So who's operating this hotel? You got-
LBA.
That's where I was headed. All right, so let's talk about that. That's a big thing. I'm going to set this up. You're a developer, but you're really an operator, in my opinion. At the beginning, at your core,
Yes.
was operations.
Definitely the core, yes.
And then a few years ago, you did a strategic alliance with LBA.
Yeah, 1/1/22, exact date.
But who's counting? January 1st, 2022.
Yeah.
Tell me about that alliance and why'd you make that decision?
So, it was actually pre-COVID. We had talked to LBA. They had, and it was actually talked to them at the hotel that we developed right here, Residence in Spring Hill Dual Brand in Clearwater, at one of the advisory meetings, and just in talking about what they thought about getting together and creating an alliance. And it was a positive, felt like they had the same culture we did. And then COVID hit, so we knuckled down, got through that, and once the dust settled, said, "Hey, do you want to carry on that conversation?" The answer was, "Yeah, let's talk about it," and made it happen. 1/1/22.
Yeah, my version of the story, and why I want to pick on this is, well, one, I think it was probably hard for you, probably a hard decision to make, to give up that control, putting words in your mouth. But I think we're seeing more and more of this now because these complicated operations is getting more complicated.
Yeah.
So you need a professional,
Yeah.
full-time management,
Right.
company management team behind the scenes. We're seeing more and more in this, I think, in the industry, in the families, in the management companies, no longer the owner-operator, let me pass it off to a third party.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that?
Yeah. No.
Did I say that right?
Yes, very accurate. So, being a general manager, you got into operations, and you had to get into operations, and then you keep growing, and it kept growing. In fact, during COVID, we added more hotels in the management arm, and then when the time came, it was either hiring another layer of people or just getting a professional that does this. That's all they do is third-party management. So we chose the latter. A lot of it encouraged by Nick to say, like, what, day-to-day grind, take it out, and you'll create more time for yourself to do what we're doing, is developing experiences and, getting into manufacturing, getting into different segments of real estate. We started our first warehouse. We've done storages. So it's allowed that, and realized that I enjoy this a lot more than the day-to-day grind that we cut our teeth on.
So help me, how do we get from Chattanooga to Clearwater? And maybe even specifically, how do we get these sites? I mean, these are complicated projects. So walk me through that.
No, they're definitely complicated projects. We developed the Spring Hill Residence Inn right behind us. And, part of the complication is dealing with the sellers. You've got sometimes 9 families, complicated, going through something within themselves, and they finally don't sell, and finally sell. That takes time.
Yeah, because I'm imagining, we're in a beach town, right? And we're beachfront. Like, these properties have been mom and pops. They've been in families for generations. So you're dealing, there's emotion, there's monetary. It's not just one person says, "Oh yeah, I'd like to sell." No, you got to sit down in a room with 9 families, you just said?
Yeah, 9 families Nick sat down with, and got it done, calls me and says, "All right, let's, do a dual brand Residence Inn." At that time, the late Deepak Ruparel, talk about mentors, was another mentors, gave us the confidence to...
how did Deepak impact you guys?
He was, became partners. We just, from the family cultures, the families got along, and, he really wanted to, have some investments in the U.S. And we were the vehicle. We were we were friends. The families were great. Even today, they're partners here. But he, after we sold the Residence Inn, or while Residence Inn and Spring Hill was under construction, Nick and him saw that there was a mom and pop hotel. Talk about mom and pops, generational hotels, older, was sitting where we sit today. And then we bought a piece of property right behind us. But going back to the complication part, you're talking about this hotel. Let's talk about the Hiatus. It took 6 years from the developer's agreement that you have to get approved, the studies for the marine life, to get it bid out, during those times. It takes 6 years. It takes patient capital to get to where we are today.
Yeah, I think that's private equity is not that patient. So they can't be, right?
Right.
It takes individuals, it takes with complications, with patience, and drive and determination to get through and over all the hurdles.
Yes.
And then in theory, eventually you get it up and cash flowing, and then private equity would love to buy it from you. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Yeah, pay you a great number and move on and go do the next one.
that's right.
Yeah, in theory. I just want to go back to Deepak, because I think this is important. So for everyone, sorry, Deepak, Canadian,
Yep.
very successful, older than us,
Yep.
a mentor,
Yep.
unfortunately died last year of cancer.
Yes.
Bless him. But I want to know, what impact did he have in your life? Again, another mentor, and these mentors are important.
Yeah, huge impact. I mean, just the way he saw things, the way he would talk to us and how he saw it. And at the same time, he would always ask, like, what do you think? And that's what you learn from wisdom at the end of the day. And that's what he gave us. And in my opinion, gave us a lot of courage. Gave me a lot of courage to say, like, this is why I think. What do you think? And then it came to a point that we had a great chemistry. It's all about harmony at the end of the day. And we've created great projects and will continue to create great projects with his family. We did the dual brand together. We did this together. And we are going to, down the road, do an Embassy Suites on the water together with his family as well.
That is great. And he just gives you, other than the knowledge, the confidence in yourself, but the courage to, it's okay, go do it.
And the key point is he believes in us.
Yeah. And that matters.
Yeah.
Even when we may not believe in ourselves.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. He believed in us. And that's half the battle for me, right? And probably Nick too. It's when people believe in you, you're halfway home.
Yeah. And a little bit of money never helps, never hurts.
No, that never hurts.
Yeah. Here's some cash, go do this. Okay, so keep going. So where else did we develop? We were in Chattanooga, we were in Nashville, we were in Orlando.
Yep.
These are good
St.
big
Augustine.
projects.
Yep. That was a big project with the marina in St. Augustine. That was a good one, complicated one as well. Anything near water is going to be complicated. Downtown Nashville, Town Place Suites, very complicated. Build over 100-year sewer and navigating through that. So we've, we always joke about it that nothing has been easy. It's always, but if you get through the complication with the determination that you mentioned, it's what it takes at the end.
All right, so what's next?
We just broke ground on a caption by Hyatt, and part of our strategic, in today's environment, you probably know better than I, with this high interest rate, construction costs, we've had to pivot. And we've also broke ground on quite a few of the mid-scale extended stays that have come out. I personally have believe in extended stay for a long time. When we built extended stay over the last 30 years, the cash flowed a lot better than the transient, if run correctly.
Yeah, you probably learned that during COVID. That's a lesson we all learned during COVID, right? The extended stays fared much better than the nightly at the hotels.
And then, we've stayed to our disciplines. Like, when you find the dirt, rule of thumb about 10,000 a key, today's interest rates, the efficiencies with the construction cost, we're still able to pencil some of these extended stays. So we broke ground on the first Hyatt studio in Mobile, Alabama. About to break ground on our second one, which may be the second one in the brand in Huntsville, Alabama. We're about to break ground on a Live Smart in Tullahoma, Tennessee. So we've got quite a busy pipeline right now.
And I'm going to put words in your mouth. And what am I trying to say? I'm going to construction costs and interest rates that you've said.
Yeah.
So it's easier to get those projects done?
It's not easier, but it's
Live Smart versus a big complicated project.
Yeah, the time is shorter to get them done. And yes, it's definitely more workable with the high interest rates.
So how many of those are you going to do? What's the plan? As many as you can or just a handful?
Right now, we're pencil to do 5. The goal is to, I always, Nick will say do 100.
Yeah, should I ask Nick?
I will say, let's do one at a time and get to 100. So we've got 5 right now. We'll do another 5, and then we'll get to the 100.
The embassy suites is what I'm thinking, but other complicated projects. Are we going to pause on those, or are we going to keep doing those?
We are redesigning it right now to try and kind of get some more efficiencies in place to try and get it to pencil. So we're still working behind the scenes.
Is that what we call stall redesign?
Yeah.
We just keep designing and designing and designing.
But the goal is to get it done. And but right now, we're pivoting to the extended stay, and we'll work on that too at the same time. I think with lending,
yeah,
to put it simply, we'll control when we start those type of projects. So whenever we get that window with a relationship and they decide to give us money for that, we'll go.
So, that's the answer. I get that. Give me more detail there. How hard is it to get a construction loan today?
That's very hard right now.
Does it have to be a relationship lender? Do you have to sign personally? What does a construction loan look like today?
For us, I'll just give you our example. It's all relationship lending. And, it's like after 30 years, I will tell you that I'm not in the hospitality business, but I'm in the relationship business.
Yes.
Everything we've done in the last year or so that we've started have all been with a relationship lender. Caption is a great example of someone that gave me a loan. Ron Jones in the first hotel, the Country Suites, in 1993, just gave me my latest loan in 2024. And all that is relationship at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So it's all relationship right now.
Everything.
Lending-wise, in my opinion. Guarantees, yes. If you're going to have to build, you're going to have to give guarantees. So we're doing it.
What's it like working with your brother?
Dream come true. That simple.
Yeah, what does Nick bring to the table? What are his strengths that are your weaknesses?
He talks a lot.
Yeah, he does.
Passion.
Yeah.
He's the relationship guy. When it comes to he's the dirt dog. He's the guy that will sit down with 9 people in the room. And then he'll get and then he'll say like, hey, you need to come down. I think this is worth your time. So we feed off each other.
Yeah, so what would he say? I know if he were here, he would say it's your company. What would you say?
It's our company. Yeah. It's not a one-man show. It's ours. So I've always said this since the day I started, since I was a GM. My wife is here even today. I would never have the guts, maybe it was that I could never say, you work for me. You work with me. So since that day, 93, I tell everybody, nobody works for me, they work with me. I just happen to be, the leader or somebody that started the company, that's all.
Yeah, the best leaders, all of us have that same attitude, right?
Yeah.
We didn't get here by ourselves. There's an army of people around making us
That's right.
look good.
100%.
What do you want to be when you grow up?
I don't know yet.
What did you want to be? What did you want to do when you were a kid? What was your dream? When you were a kid in boarding school in London, what did you want to be?
To be honest, I thought I was going to be a cricketer.
Yeah, you did. Professional athlete. I can see that.
Well, just cricket was something that we did, played at a decent level and thought, but then when I came to the U.S., there was no cricket. So I came here for a 4-year degree. I don't think anybody in my family just thought I was going to meet my wife as a freshman in UT Chattanooga and then say like, hey, listen, I think I'm going to get married and stay here. That's how I stayed here, right? And then you end up telling her that, hey, right, after 1 or 2 years of marriage, hey, stop selling computer software. We're going into a hotel business.
She says, this is not what I signed up
It's
for.
not what I signed up for.
At all. Nor was she headed back to Zambia.
No, but actually one of the things a true story is when my father said when he met my in-laws and said, hey, I sent my son for an education, he wants to marry your daughter, that's great. He's the eldest one. Something's happened in Zambia and he has to come back to Zambia, and my father-in-law, I think at that point told him that my daughter's not, she's brought up that she's not marrying your son, she's marrying your family. So if you have to go to Zambia, I'll pack her bags. She's going to Zambia.
That's a bold statement.
Yeah. That was the end of that. So we said, let's go.
Let's go.
Let's get them married. Still married. 31 years. Right?
Still with you.
Hard to believe, right?
Cleaning hotel rooms.
Let's see if she wants to clean one today, right?
I'll let you ask. Yeah. What did Dad do in Zambia?
Manufacturing.
Manufacturing. So again, I'm guessing he sent you abroad to eventually come back and run manufacturing in Zambia.
Or to run the family business.
Right, run the family
manufacturing, trading businesses. Yeah.
That didn't quite work out.
No, it didn't work out, but it all works out in the end, right?
Yeah. What I'm saying we have in our family, but it's life is a journey,
Yeah.
not a destination. You got
right.
to enjoy the journey every day.
Every day.
Here's the journey.
We're
not
enjoying
trying to get somewhere,
Yeah.
but enjoy this journey and this ride.
That's right.
Talk to me about your other investments.
So we got into manufacturing. We bought a small cabinet company out of bankruptcy, but hired the whole family to keep running it, give them a second chance. And we're about to start another manufacturing business. So what we did back home, or what my parents do back home, we're starting to do here.
Yeah, coming full circle.
Coming full circle. So it's fun.
Love those stories. As parents, we always want the next generation. Your dad probably wanted you to come join the manufacturing. What's the succession plan and future for 3H?
Who knows? Got 2 nieces, 2 sons. If they decide to come back, who knows? I may go on a real hiatus if they do decide to come back.
Final question. Who's a better golfer, you or Nick?
Depends on the day. Just like new construction or acquisition, depends on the day. Putt, probably me. The real thing, probably him.
Well, that's a bold statement. I mean, Nick was trying to play on the PGA Tour at one point in his life. So how many strokes are you going to give me next time we play?
One aside.
One a hole. Sounds great. Hiren, thank you. Let's go check out your hiatus.
Yeah.
Speaking of hiatuses. Love it. Thank you, my friend, for being here.
Appreciate it.